Hi, second graders. So today I wanted to remind you of something that we have talked about in the past. When we want to understand a character in a story that we're reading, we're going to look at three different things. We're going to look at what a character says. That means we're going to be looking at the words and the dialogue in the story, the words that are spoken by the character. The other thing that we can look at is what the character does. That means we're going to be examining his actions. The third thing that we're going to look at is what the character thinks. We're going to be looking at his thoughts. So again, we're going to look at a character's words, his actions, and his thoughts. Those three things will let us know about our character and what he's like inside, not what he looks like. Now, thinking about that, let's talk about Mr. Tannen in particular. There are several things that happen in the story that will give us information about him as a person inside. So, if you go to page 18, in your story, you will see that Mr. Tannen, it says right here, that Mr. Tannen was very disappointed when he found out that there was not going to be enough money to pay for the playground. Then the author says that there were words that floated around his head. The playground will have to wait. You'll think of something. And I wish our account was as full as the Thai closet. So we're going to talk about that as being event number one. Mr. Tannen wishes he had money in his account to pay for the playground. When he wishes, that's a thought. What it let me know was that Mr. Tannen thinks about people or cares about others. And now we're going to look at number two. Let's look at another event in the story. If we turn to page 20, Mr. Tannen has announced that he's going to sell all his ties. So Mr. Tannen decides to sell his ties. What it lets me know about Mr. Tannen is that he is a generous person. He gives what he has to others. So Mr. Tannen is generous. And if we go to the very last part of the story, Mr. Tannen says, "Thank you all." This is on page 27. "I have always taught my students the more you give, the more you get. With this money, the Lyndhurst School will have a new playground." This also tells me about how Mr. Tannen is generous, but it can also tell me that Mr. Tannen is kind. He knows that he has to give to make others happy, and that will make him happy himself. And I did not write this before. Mr. Tannen says, the more you give, the more you Thank you. I hope that was helpful.